Hola, hola. Welcome back to my channel. This is part 3 of the Planning Your Dream Trip series. So if you haven't seen part 1 and 2, this one will not make any sense. If you're here because you need support in planning your next holiday, I suggest you start from the beginning. Before we get started, I want to share a personal announcement. I have officially launched my travel consultancy, Golden Hour Travel. I am so excited. I've been working on this for over a year and we are now live. So if you want to work directly with me to plan your next trip, you can do that now. Send me an email. All of the details of my new website, which is beautiful, are down below. So go check out my website, follow my company on social media, all of the things. Thank you for your support. And if you wait until the end of the video, I will tell you where you can find a beautiful infographic that basically summarizes everything that I have been talking about in the last 3 videos. So you can use it as a guide for whenever you're planning a trip. You can just look at this PDF and follow it step by step. So just to quickly recap what we left off in video number 2, I left you guys with the homework of doing all the bulk research. So at this point, you are probably collecting a number of links, a number of places on the map or in your platform, and just keeping track of everything that you're reading. Hopefully you already know where you want to stay. You have selected the top 5, top 3 hotels that suit your budget and that are in the location that you want. And once you've identified these places, this is definitely the first thing that you're gonna want to get out of the way in terms of making the reservations. I usually try to get this out of the way first so that I can then not worry about prices going up, and then I can just focus on the other research, which is where I'm gonna eat, what the museums, where are the cool bars and all that stuff. So in terms of booking hotel and accommodations, there's not that many tips in terms of selecting the hotels I can give you because everybody has a different travel style. Some people like to stay in the heart of the city. Some people don't want to be amongst the noise. So really, this is a very personal decision. When it comes to booking hotels, the only thing that I do religiously or that I look for in every single new accommodation that I will stay at is that it has a good cancellation policy. At this point in my life, I have learned my lesson, especially if you have lived through COVID. A lot was lost financially during these 2 years in terms of travels that got canceled and just money that you never saw again. And I think it just taught us a lesson that, anything can happen at any moment. So even if there's a hotel that I really want to stay at, if they don't have a good cancellation policy, I straight up just will not stay there. Like, this is a hard line for me. It just gives me more peace of mind. And it's definitely something I recommend you doing. I personally rely almost solely on booking.com and Airbnb. Although more and more, if I can avoid going through Airbnb, I will avoid it. But booking.com is my go-to, and they usually have a lot of options with cancellation policy. And usually they have better prices than the actual hotel. So if you're booking directly through the hotels, I advise you to check out booking.com because usually it will be cheaper. All right, so get your hotel accommodation bookings out of the way, book that, make sure you have a cancellation policy so you don't have to worry about it. And now we can start making our actual itinerary. We have been documenting so much. We have all of this research. We have all of these places. Now, how are we gonna organize it? Well, this is where Google My Maps comes in. One disclaimer I have to say is that Google My Maps, in my opinion, is the best thing I have found so far for this particular task. However, it's not amazing. There are so many things that could be improved, and I hope that they do improve it. For my Japan trip, I've actually been using a new app called Wonderlog because I wanted to test it out. And it's this new service that is made exactly for this, for organizing itineraries. It has a map area and it has an itinerary area. And honestly, it's almost perfect, but I have found that I have put so much content in there that now it's so slow and it just drives me insane. So I just did it to test it out, but I don't feel comfortable to recommending it as the go-to platform. They still need to fix a lot of things, which is why I am sticking to Google My Maps, just because it's Google, it's transferable from one app to the next, and it's just something that everyone has access to. You don't have to pay for it, and it's reliable. But again, there are some things that could definitely be improved. So I'm gonna jump on the computer and I'm going to show you what I mean. All right, y'all, so this is my Google My Maps of Tokyo. You can see there's a lot on here. I have put everything that I researched into this list. So one thing to know before you even start putting everything on the map is that if you have the intention of turning this into a day-by-day itinerary, you should put everything in one single layer. As you can see, I don't have this separated into categories anymore. So my categories are only defined by the color and the logo. So choose your logo, choose your color, you can customize, but everything should be in the same layer, because this is one of the things that Google My Maps could definitely improve. They have a limit of only 10 layers. So you can't make more than 10 layers. So for example, if I was to separate these into categories as I would like to, I would have about 10 different categories: restaurants, parks, bars, and then I wouldn't have any more layers to separate this into days. So that's one thing that I find very limiting. But it just depends how you want to use this map. If you want to use it as an itinerary or if you want to use it as a guide. If you want to use it as a guide, then you can go ahead and definitely make different titles that define the category. So for the sake of creating an itinerary, I'm going to show you how I do it. Again, everything is in one single list. So I have everything here scattered. You're like, oh my God, how am I going to tackle this massive city? So the strategy that I implement when I'm tackling a major city is divide everything by neighborhoods, right? So one day we do this region, one day we do here, and so on. A very cool tool that Google My Maps has is this one right here. Draw a line. Draw a line or shape. This, just for visualization purposes, lets you kind of create a shape around a certain number of icons. So let's call this the name of the neighborhood. And you can change the color. Let's make this pink. And then, for example, let's do it again. So for example, because these neighborhoods are so close, maybe these could have been pulled to this day or to this day. So that's where you use this tool. Let's get all of these. This is going to be a very busy day. I don't think that would be possible to do that, but it's for the sake of the explanation. Shibuya. All right, so this is just to show you that that tool exists. It can be very useful. See, now I can see, I can barely see this color. Let's change it. Let's make it. Okay, so now I can kind of start to separate the regions, and it's a little bit easier to see. How are we going to make an actual itinerary? Like, okay, we are going to use the direction tool. Add directions. Once you've reviewed all of these, so take a time and go through all of them and see which ones are most important to you, which ones do you want to go to first. So let's say we want to start this day at the park. So I've selected the Add Directions button, and then you click here. And it automatically adds itself down here. We have selected that our method of transportation is driving, but let's say we're going to be walking. So we change this to walking. And we're going to call this day 1. Then for B, we just select our second destination. So let's say we're going to have breakfast at this location. Then you Basically do the same thing that you would do on Google Maps. You go to your next, then add another one. You go here, here. I mean, that's a lot of restaurants, so this is just to show you how the app works. All right, so let's do that. So that's it. Now you can see in the order of which you want to travel from point A to B. You have the titles here. If you want more specific directions, you can click these 3 buttons here and say step-by-step directions. I can see that if I was to do all of this, it would be 2 miles and it would be a 47-minute walk. And that's it. You can leave that there. That's your day 1. Now let's go to our day 2. We do the exact same thing. Add directions. Start with coffee. Now we walk to this bookshop. Then we're gonna have breakfast here. I don't know what that is. Oh, it's a brewery. And so on. Again, step-by-step directions. 14-minute walk. And that's how you can prepare day by day. See here, let's rename it. This would be day 2. And there you go. You can do this up to 10 times. You can use 10 different layers. Now I want to show you how you can see this very map in your Google Maps when you're just walking down the street. So go to your Google Maps. Then you go over here to saved. So Google My Maps and Google Maps talk to each other. And you go over here to the category Maps. You will find it here. Click on it. And there you go. And then you can just navigate normally as if you're using Google Maps. All right, y'all. That was it. That was all of my knowledge just thrown at you in 3 videos. This is my personal methodology, just something that I have created over time that has been evolving almost on its own. This is what works for me. This is the best strategy. I'm sure there are a million other ways of doing it. Maybe it doesn't really work for you, but hopefully you will test it out and it will provide some guidance. I have left a link to my newsletter below. If you sign up, you will automatically receive a free infographic summarizing everything we just covered. So you don't have to come back here and listen to me talk. You can just look at this PDF and use it as a guide. Hopefully it's useful. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. So that's it. This is my last video before I go to Japan, and I'm gonna be documenting everything. Like every single piece of food I put in my mouth, every single new street that I walk down through. So hit that subscribe button and the bell so you do not miss my hundreds of videos that I'm gonna have to put together after I come back. But for now, I am logging off. And you won't see me for a whole month because I will be eating sashimi for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay? Thanks for watching. I'm out.